From being a young, aspiring content creator back in college in Kolkata to raising 18 crore rupees from the Harvard of startups, that's Y Combinator. From building our very own beach house property in Juhu, neighboring the who's who and the wealthiest people of the country, to then losing it all and realizing that our product does not work just 45 days away from bankruptcy. To then, today, TagMango processing over 400 crores of creator earnings from the platform and having empowered more than 3,500 creators with their livelihoods. This, my friends, is the TagMango story. Alright, let's take it from the beginning. For context, I was a very extroverted student back in school, academically very strong, was able to connect with people and extremely strong in communication. And that kind of got into college, and in college also I used to participate in a ton of business fests and really put myself out there. And one of the unique pieces that happened in college was I'd started out my own social entrepreneurship venture back in college called Wake Up Kid. It was an absolutely original name, not inspired from anywhere. And within that, we were doing a bunch of things, building a volunteering and donation platform. And that was my first stint with building something in the technology domain, doing cleanliness drives and holding Calcutta's biggest cleanliness drives and so on and so forth. And then I got into building content for myself, and the content journey for the next year was amazing. We built almost 1 million plus followers on the distribution we had. We got about 100 million views on the content we were doing. We were doing public speaking workshops. I was getting invited to different colleges, the most prestigious institutions of the country, to come and speak there, and I was having a ball of a time till all of it came crashing down when Facebook decided to kill its algorithm and change its algorithm completely, and all my distribution went to zilch. What was getting about 100,000 hits before was now barely getting 2,000 to 3,000 hits on the same piece of content. Everything that we'd worked on over the last couple of years had gone down the drain. And all of this because of one minor change in the algorithm. And then we were faced with a problem. As a creator, I was unable to figure out how to make money, and I was hugely dependent on all these big tech platforms for my community and my distribution. And around here, Hassan and I got together to figure out solutions for this very palpable problem that we found for creators altogether. That is when TagMango was born. So TagMango initially started out as a brand influencer marketplace. We used to help creators to connect with brands, specifically nano and micro influencers, and were at that moment running campaigns at scale for all these brands. And in that journey, the big highlight was that all of us were originally from Calcutta, and we decided to shift our base from Calcutta to Bombay, and we lived out of a home office. And in that home office, the context was that 7 boys and 4 rats, the 11 of us went on to build TagMango over the next 1 year with all of these different brand campaigns that we were working with. And along with all of that, we were also applying for a bunch of startup accelerators back then in order to secure some startup funding, including Y Combinator, Techstars, and 500 startups altogether. The interesting thing is, the first time we applied for Y Combinator early 2019, we never got through. And the second time we applied for Y Combinator about 6 months later, and this time it was so much more critical and important for us to really get into Y Combinator, because Hassan and I were going through our own set of hardships back then, and our backs were truly against the wall, even though we were really hard pushing in a very innovative space where no one or no other company was actually doing what we were effectively doing. This Y Combinator interview, or the breakthrough for the second time, was that much more important. The good news, as already stated, is we got through. For those who don't know what Y Combinator is, it is a tech startup accelerator that backs about 150 to 200 companies every 6 months altogether, and they invest close to 150,000 or $500,000 against a certain equity of your company. And they have this 12-week program where the topmost startups of the world come together to learn from the best mentors and best minds in the startup hemisphere. And to give you some context, companies like Airbnb, Dropbox, Stripe, companies like Meesho, Razorpay, Crore, all of them are YC backed in the India market as well. The biggest pivot for the business at TagMango that's ever happened happened after Y Combinator, and the unique insight that we got from the CEO at YC himself. He'd mentioned to us that Divyanshu, the brand influencer marketplace inherently as a model is not very scalable just using technology. If you truly want to build a business that goes on to revolutionize the next wave of whichever industry that you're trying to change, then you'll have to rethink your whole business model. At that moment, we went back to the drawing board and we realized that a lot bigger opportunity that we could work on was, instead of working with brands and helping creators make money through brand monetization, we could instead build tools for them that they could figure out all kinds of audience monetization from the platform. For example, if you were a cooking creator, then you could go about hosting a cooking course on the platform, be it in a live format or in a pre-recorded format, using the whole set of tools that we provided to you on your own website itself. And along with this huge pivot that we made in our business model, one of the most interesting things that we did was launch our very own creator house back in Juhu in Bombay. Now, to give you some context, while we were in the States, we were living in a space called the Launch House, which was this community of creators, founders, and like-minded folks coming together, doing some kinds of interesting events and having the ability to also stay there and build that deep connection all together. And we found that we could bring that whole concept of the Launch House back here in India, and it could become a very interesting go-to-market strategy to build more leverage for the brand and also create a lot more noise for the TagMango system altogether. At the Creator Pad, we had a ball of a time. We were hosting some really cool parties, we had some really incredible events, getting founders and creators all together, and doing some incredible panel discussions to build this whole cohesive community that can go on to create a large amount of impact. And our hope was that it could translate on to business for our technology product as well. But that did not happen. Honestly, for the 6 to 12 months, we were on a roll. We were feeling that we were on the top of the world, everything was going right. Our Creator Pad was very, very happening. It was creating a lot of noise in the ecosystem. Our numbers were increasing on the product that we were creating. We were giving a lot of incentives to creators as well to stick on and come to the platform as well. And our team was also expanding along with it. And we were hearing all kinds of praises and validation from everyone around us, which made us to feel almost invincible. We felt that no one can take us down and nothing truly can happen till that one fateful day that I got an email from the CEO at Combinator, Michael Siebel himself. The email had the subject line, "Economic Downturn." And I'll share the highlights. It said, "No one can predict how bad the economy will get, but things don't look good. The safe move is to plan for the worst, cut costs and extend your runway within the next 30 days. Your goal should be to get to default alive. If your plan is to raise money in the next 6 to 12 months, you might be raising at the peak of the downturn. Remember that your chances of success are extremely low even if your company is doing well. We recommend you change your plan." Everything that we were doing so far at TagMango was to raise our next round of funding. All our decisions were aligned towards the same. This email was a hard slap that we got on our cheek, and it showed us the reality of the lie that we were living. At that very moment, Hassan and I looked at each other, we looked at our bank balance, and we realized that we only had 6 months of runway left. We had to take some hard calls or we would have died. Firstly, we were giving out unrealistic incentives and minimum guarantee deals to our customers. We had to stop that, and our numbers fell by 85%. It showed us the reality that our product, our technology product, truly did not have depth. Second, we had to figure how to make more money from our existing infrastructure. And from that adversity came an opportunity of we're figuring out revenue levers, where we started to white label our existing TagMango platform and give it out to creators and charge something upfront for the same. And interestingly, that's our biggest cash cow as of this moment. And the last thing was, we had to shut out the Creator House, which was such a big part of our identity and who we were as a company. But we had to take the hard call because we were spending 10 lakh rupees on rent alone. But all of those three things were fine. The biggest blow came to us when our core team members started to lose faith in us. in our journey, in our beliefs, in our visions. And that really broke Hassan and me. If you had to ask me what's been my strongest point or my core competency, and if I had to respond to that in an interview, I would have always kind of told anyone that it was my confidence. That my confidence to take a path less charted by, to challenge the existing convention and not think of if the outcome did not work in my favor. But at that very point in time, when we were seeing everything falling apart, my confidence truly shook. And that was the first time in my life I started to question my faith in myself. The next 6 months for us was a nightmare. Hassan and I, both of us, were firefighting every single day, trying to figure out where we could kind of save on every single penny and every single penny altogether, and where is it that we could make even a little more money. We tried to reach out to all our investors to see if anyone could help us tide over with a few more months of runway. We even dabbled with the thought of maybe getting acquired as a business, which we never thought of. We'd always thought we'll take the company long, and even if we have to take through acquisition, then it'll be on our own terms. But we saw that everyone around us was losing faith, and all our team members were looking at us for hope, and we were unable to provide that. The next 3 months were ridiculously hard. While we were unable to raise money from any investors out there, we were able to raise a small chunk of capital from the very customers that stuck around at that point of time. And that became the oxygen that's got us to the stage we are at today. Before we get to where we've arrived today, let me reflect back on some of the learnings that we were able to capture during the last 5 years of the business. The first learning was to look within. We spend a lot of time looking outside for ideas, trying to build the Indian Patreon, trying to build the Indian launch house. We lost. The moment we looked inside to see what truly works on our platform, things started to work. The next one was value versus valuation. Well, this one's pretty self-explanatory. From trying to optimize for the next fundraise to optimizing for what truly works for our customer, in retrospect, it's fairly obvious what truly served us better. The third is gratitude and resilience. Well, I remember telling Hassan this every single time, especially during those hard days, was that everything that's happening to us at this point of time is just preparing us for harder and harder challenges down the road. If we have a team of 50 right now, tomorrow we'll have a team of 500, day after it'll be a 5,000, and we wouldn't have gone through all the learnings at this moment of time, we'll not be able to perform tomorrow. So that brought us to a state of being grateful for all the challenges that were being thrown at us one after the other, and that truly helped us sail through. And the final learning is pretty simple. Process over outcome. Nothing new. What's written in the Gita? Karm karte raho, phal ki chinta mat karo. If you're working hard with a clean intention every single day, then the outcome will definitely arrive. That's just how the laws of nature work. And that brings us to today. With a small chunk of capital and a renewed sense of self, we started to build for our creators one step at a time, one creator at a time, trying to truly understand what our customers want and building technology products accordingly. Today, 3,500 creators use TagMango to sell all kinds of digital products, from courses to workshops to memberships to challenges, and we as a business either take a small chunk of their revenue or charge them up to 4 lakh rupees a year in order to use our systems. We now process more than 400 crores of creator earnings every year, and guess what? We're just getting started.